Family petitioners, listen up. If you're waiting on an I-130 petition or planning to file one soon, October 2025 is about to flip the whole process on its head. USCIS is launching a massive overhaul that promises faster processing, stricter rules, and a fully digital system, and trust me, you do not want to miss this. Ready to find out how these changes will affect your green card journey? Let's dive in. Alright, before we dive into the big changes, let's just take a quick step back and refresh what the I-130 is all about. For those of you who are new to this, the I-130 petition for alien relative is the official form U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents file with USCIS, that's the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, to establish the relationship between you and a qualifying family member who wants to immigrate to the U.S. It's the first step in family-based immigration. Without this petition, your loved one can't move forward with getting a green card. Now, traditionally, the I-130 process has been pretty straightforward but often slow and frustrating, with long waits, paperwork delays, and sometimes confusing instructions. Many people have been stuck waiting years, especially for certain categories like siblings or adult children of green card holders. So, any overhaul or improvement to this system is huge news. So what's actually happening in October 2025? USCIS is rolling out a major overhaul to the entire I-130 petition process. They're implementing new digital tools, streamlining the way petitions are submitted, improving case tracking, and tightening eligibility and documentation requirements, all with the goal of making the process faster, more transparent, and more user-friendly. This is part of a broader government initiative to modernize immigration services with better technology and more efficiency. First off, one of the biggest changes is that USCIS will require all I-130 petitions to be filed online through their revamped electronic filing system. No more paper forms sent through the mail unless you have an exemption, which is going to be extremely rare. This digital-first approach means petitions will be processed faster because there will be less manual handling. You'll also get instant confirmation that your application has been received, and you can track its status in real time through a new, user-friendly dashboard. This is a game changer because one of the biggest pain points has always been not knowing exactly where your petition is in the queue. With this upgrade, you can log in anytime, see updates, request evidence, respond, and communicate directly with USCIS through the portal. No more lost mail or vague processing delays emails. Now, while the filing process is going digital, USCIS is also tightening up the documentation requirements. They want to make sure only legitimate petitions are approved, and to crack down on fraud. So, the new system will have more built-in checks and require more detailed evidence right from the start. For example, if you're filing for a spouse, you'll need to upload additional proof of a bona fide marriage beyond the usual documents. This might include joint financial records, photos, affidavits from friends and family, or other proof of shared life together. For parents and children, there will be stricter requirements for birth certificates and proof of legal guardianship or custody. Basically, USCIS wants to catch any inconsistencies early so petitions aren't unnecessarily delayed or rejected after months. This means you'll want to be extra thorough when you submit your petition, double-checking every document and making sure everything is clear and complete. Another huge update is the new prioritization system USCIS is introducing to manage the I-130 workload more efficiently. Historically, petitions were processed mostly on a first-come, first-served basis. But with backlogs growing in some categories, the new system will prioritize certain categories over others to reduce wait times for the most urgent or high-impact cases. Here's how it will work: immediate relative spouses, parents, and unmarried children under 21 of U.S. citizens will get the highest priority and faster processing times. This makes sense because these categories don't have annual visa limits, so USCIS wants to get those petitions moving quickly. Meanwhile, preference categories, like adult children and siblings, which do have annual limits and longer backlogs, will be processed on a tiered priority basis based on petition date, petitioner status, and other factors like humanitarian need. This tiered system will help USCIS allocate resources better and reduce bottlenecks for categories that tend to clog the system. For those in the waiting categories, this could mean some petitions get processed faster, while others may still face delays, but overall, the system should become more balanced and predictable. Let's talk about fees next because that's always an important topic. The overhaul also includes a revision of USCIS filing fees for the I-130. The fees will increase slightly to cover the cost of these new digital infrastructure and enhanced fraud prevention measures. However, USCIS is also introducing a new fee waiver process for low-income petitioners to ensure the process stays accessible. So, if you're worried about costs, check the new guidelines carefully because there are now clear paths to request fee waivers or reductions based on financial hardship. Speaking of costs, the overhaul is also rolling out a new case complexity assessment at the time of filing. What does that mean? Basically, the system will analyze your petition to see if it's straightforward or if it needs extra review. Simple cases, like a U.S. citizen petitioning for a spouse with all documents in order, will get faster processing and fewer requests for additional evidence. More complicated cases, for example, petitions involving adoption, previous marriages, or missing documents will be flagged for more scrutiny but will still have clear communication through the online portal. This is another big improvement because one of the biggest frustrations has been unclear or inconsistent requests for evidence, sometimes leading to months of back and forth with USCIS. With this overhaul, you'll know sooner if your case needs extra attention and why, and USCIS will aim to be more transparent about their decisions. Another cool feature of the new system is integrated support for multiple languages. Previously, USCIS forms and instructions were mostly in English and Spanish. Now, the online portal will support at least 6 major languages right at launch, including Chinese, Tagalog, Vietnamese, Korean, and French, which will make the petition process more accessible to families who speak these languages at home. Plus, the system will offer AI-powered guidance tools to help petitioners fill out forms correctly, reducing errors. The overhaul also affects how petitions are transferred and coordinated with the National Visa Center, NVC, and U.S. embassies abroad. Once USCIS approves an I-130 petition, the case is transferred to the NVC for visa processing if the beneficiary is outside the U.S. The new system will automatically share digital case files with the NVC, speeding up the transition and eliminating the need for petitioners or beneficiaries to resubmit documents at that stage. This will save weeks or even months in the overall green card process. One more major change to highlight is how USCIS will handle petition withdrawals. Before, if a petitioner wanted to withdraw the I-130 petition, maybe because the relationship ended or circumstances changed, they had to send a written request by mail. Now, petitioners can log into the new portal and submit a withdrawal request instantly, with a confirmation and status updates. This digital option makes it easier to manage your petition responsibly and avoid unnecessary processing fees. Now, what about the timeline? USCIS estimates that for straightforward cases, the overhaul will reduce processing times by as much as 30% within the first year. That means if you're currently waiting 2 years for a spouse petition to be approved, you could see that cut down to around 16-18 months or less starting late 2025. That's a huge improvement for families eager to reunite. But here's the thing, like any major system overhaul, there may be some bumps during the rollout period. USCIS has acknowledged that there could be initial delays as staff and users get used to the new digital process. So if you're planning to file an I-130 petition in late 2025 or early 2026, it's a good idea to prepare early and be patient if you experience some delays or technical issues. Also, if you currently have an I-130 petition pending with USCIS at the time the new system launches, your case will eventually be transitioned to the new system, but you won't have to refile or resubmit everything. USCIS will notify you about when and how your case moves over. Keep an eye on your USCIS account and email for updates. Okay, I know this is a lot to take in, so let me break down the key takeaways you need to remember. Starting October 2025, all I-130 petitions must be filed online through the new USCIS digital portal. You'll get instant confirmation and real-time tracking of your petition. Documentation requirements will be more detailed and strict, so submit everything carefully. Immediate relatives will get priority processing, while other categories will be processed based on a new tiered priority system. Filing fees will increase slightly, but fee waivers will be available for eligible petitioners. The new system will help you understand case complexity early and provide clearer communication. Multilingual support and AI assistance will make the process easier for many petitioners. Case transfers to the National Visa Center will be automatic and digital. Petition withdrawals can now be done online. Processing times should improve by up to 30% after the system stabilizes. Existing pending cases will be transitioned automatically. This overhaul is one of the biggest changes USCIS has made to family-based immigration in years. It's designed to modernize the process and make it fairer and faster, but it also means you need to be prepared. Start gathering all your documents early, get familiar with the online filing system when it launches, and double-check everything before submission. If you're in the middle of the process or thinking about filing soon, this is the perfect time to do your homework and stay informed, because these changes could affect your strategy. For example, if you're petitioning for a sibling and your case is stuck in a long backlog, knowing how the new tier system works can help you plan better. I also want to mention that USCIS plans to host a series of webinars and release detailed guides as the launch date approaches, so keep an eye on their website and official social media channels. I'll be sharing updates too, so if you want the latest tips and walkthroughs, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Finally, for anyone feeling overwhelmed by the changes, remember that immigration attorneys and accredited representatives will be adapting their services to this new system too. If you want professional help, make sure you find someone experienced with the new digital process who can guide you through it. Alright, that's the deep dive on the I-130 overhaul coming in October 2025. Family petition fans, this is your moment to get ahead of the curve, stay informed, and be ready to make the most of these changes.